Kids are heading to the bus stop in the next few minutes. We're at upper 40s across our northwestern zones, 52 degrees right now in Orlando and Kissimmee. Now, compared to just 24 hours ago, we're running between 1 and up to 5 degrees warmer than yesterday. So not a noticeable difference, but certainly starting that gradual trend that will continue into the weekend. Look at the visibility right now. You can see we're getting a little bit of a cluster of some patchy fog across southern Lake and into areas of Osceola County. But right now, the only spot showing some visibility issues is right along the immediate coastline. More of that sea fog kind of interacting there in Flagler County. As the kids are heading to that bus stop the last few days before spring break, temperatures are going to be into those upper 70s to near 80 degrees by 3 p.m. But we are talking near record highs come this weekend. We'll be timing out the rain as well. Also talking about a total lunar eclipse. We've got a jam-packed weather forecast for you, and we will be breaking it all down coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on how those roadways are doing. Hopefully not jam-packed.
Nope.
With Trooper Steve.
You sound like one of your daughters when you did that. Spring break.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Where they get it from,
yeah.
Right? I-4 looking good this morning, 7:02 in the morning, and it's not too bad. Obviously, we're going to start to see some buildup of some traffic out there as the morning continues. But if you're headed out towards MCO, Orlando International Airport, 528 here at Tradeport, looking good. I need to change that. I don't know why that's frozen like that. 30 minutes, Champions Gate to downtown Orlando on I-4 eastbound. And then if you're in the metro area, things still looking really nice there. Florida Turnpike at the 251 puts us over by 417. Hunters Creek, you guys still looking good as well. Guys, send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve. Happening today, a warning from police that bad behavior won't be tolerated in New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah, the department says it learned hundreds of high school seniors plan to skip class today ahead of spring break and head to the beach. And now they've set up this special event zone to make sure things don't get out of hand.
News 6's Angie Casada is there live for us this morning. So, Angie, establishing this special zone will give officers a little bit more power.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. Look how beautiful New Smyrna Beach looks behind me. This is stunning. Well, just a few feet away, I'm talking about just like a few steps, is the Mobile Command Center. They're not playing any games. They're set up, and this entire parking lot is barricaded, and it's going to take an effect at 8 o'clock this morning. Again, covering a wide stretch of the beach and just surrounding streets. You can already see a lot of the warning signs posted as you cross the bridge. Police say past unsanctioned events like President's Day got out of control with large teen crowds, some arrests, and even gun-related incidents. Now they're enforcing tougher restrictions. Any traffic violations in this zone means double the fines, and police can impound vehicles for up to 72 hours. We talked to business owners yesterday about the concerns.
We hope all goes well. There have been some problems in the past few years, but I feel like the city's trying to work that out, and with the police presence, it seems to be a little bit more helpful.
For now, officers plan on keeping a close eye on the crowds. Now, this special event zone will only be in place for today's senior skip day, but a strong police presence is expected to continue into spring break. Again, you know, today is senior skip day, so hundreds of students will be heading out, and police are just trying to remind folks, if you do plan on coming out here, just be on your best behavior. Reporting live in New Smyrna Beach, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
Thank you so much, Angie. It's all about keeping those students safe. And speaking of that, new this morning, Brevard County Schools says it's reached a new milestone when it comes to keeping students safe there. The district says it's finished installing new weapons detection systems at all 16 traditional high schools. They started the rollout last year at Melbourne High, you'll remember, and the scanners are already getting results, catching a student who tried to get into Cocoa High School with a gun last month. Supporters say the system is quick and non-intrusive and has only caused minimal delays for students heading to class.
This morning, the astronauts of Crew 10 remain here on Earth after their planned trip to the International Space Station ended up being scrubbed.
At this time, we are standing down from today to further address hydraulic release data.
We copy all. Space flight is tough. Humans are tougher. We'll be ready when the equipment is.
All right, the crew was all suited up. They were strapped into that Falcon 9 rocket when things were called off about 45 minutes to launch time. It was all because of a problem with the hydraulics on the arm that attaches the rocket to the launch pad.
They talked about it throughout the countdown. They thought it was going to be okay. They reported they were operating okay, but apparently there was still enough of a question mark. They want to make absolutely sure they get this right.
SpaceX says it's going to skip another attempt tonight. They're going to try it again Friday night, a little after 7. Of course, we will bring that to you live if and when that happens. Space fans, though, did not leave the Space Coast entirely disappointed. That's because just a couple of hours later, a different Falcon 9 lifted off from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This one took another batch of Starlink internet satellites into orbit. Several minutes later, the first stage touched down on a drone ship in the Atlantic.
Those night launches never get old. Well, new this morning, a 19-year-old is rushed to the hospital after a shooting in Orange County. Sky 6 flew over the scene yesterday along Silver Star Road at Pine Hills Road. That's right near Evans High School. Investigators say when they arrived, they found the victim with life-threatening injuries. At this point, though, deputies haven't released any other details, including what led up to the shooting or if there's a gunman still on the run. In Osceola County, more than 24 people facing charges after what the sheriff is calling the agency's largest ever fentanyl bust. Deputies say it started with undercover agents buying small amounts of the drug from two brothers and grew as they found out where the supply was coming from. In addition, investigators say at least one of the people arrested was in the country illegally.
He's illegal, okay? And this is an example of the people we don't want in our country. He comes here not to work, not to do anything nice, not to be a friend of anyone. He's here to destroy our families.
The sheriff says the majority of the 26 people arrested are facing at least 7 years in prison.
The city of Orlando is asking Orange County to pay up to $5 million to help make the long-delayed Pulse Memorial a reality. About a month ago, an advisory committee completed work on a design to honor the 49 victims killed in the massacre. The city has now put out a request for bids to build it. Orlando has said it'll put in $7.5 million for the design and construction, but is expecting the overall project to cost around $12 million. In a statement, Orange County Mayor Jerry Deming says he supports the request, but final approval will be up to the county commission. New this morning, a woman out of a car and 21 grand after finding out the used car that she bought was actually a stolen one.
Yeah, deputies call them clone cars, a vehicle with a fake VIN from another car. As News 6 investigator Louis Bolden found out, dozens of them are seized in Florida every year.
When you saw that Lexus, did it immediately catch your eye?
It did. It caught my eye, the price too.
Yenis Sosa put in an offer for this Lexus on Facebook Marketplace last May. She and the seller agreed to a price of $21,000 cash and that he would drive down from Jacksonville and meet Sosa at a bank in Altamont Springs. At the bank, Sosa says her mechanic inspected the car and the seller showed her his driver's license, which matched the title. He also gave her this Carfax vehicle history report with the same VIN.
He gave me the title, the Carfax, a bill of sale, and we signed the paper.
The same day, she took it to the DMV.
They registered the Lexus. I paid for the taxes. The lady from the DMV came outside with me and checked that the VIN number.
Did you have any problems at the DMV?
Zero problem.
Months later, an investigator told her she needed to bring her car back to the DMV because someone tried to register a car with that same VIN in Georgia. That car was legit, but Sosa's car was reported stolen from a Hertz car rental in 2023.
The VIN number was not the real VIN number. The guy have put and faked the VIN number, faked the title, the Carfax. Everything was not real, not even him.
There are things you can do to make sure the used car you're buying is legitimate. I've posted that information inside this story on clickorlando.com. Getting results, I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
Definitely check out that information. Turning back to your weather now, a cool start, Candace, but later this afternoon, we're going to be singing Feeling Hot, Hot, Hot.
Big time as we get a lot more sunshine in the forecast, as well as our breeze coming in out of the south. That's going to start making things feel really warm, especially as we head into that weekend. Speaking of the sun, we've got that sunrise in just a few minutes there. Cape Canaveral, our launch credit union camera, really showing off its colors right now. I think this is the best live shot we've got. Well, maybe switched up coming up in the next weather hit here. But right now we're at 51 degrees. Notice that those temperatures along our coastline will be rebounding back into the upper 70s. Our sunrise officially at 7:37 this morning. But look at all that dry air in place, and that's allowing temperatures to start off cool and then climb to near 80 degrees this afternoon. We are watching a little tiny disturbance across our far northern zones. Could clip part of our northern counties later on today, just adding a little bit of cloud cover. No real issues expected with that. Now, as we look at those temperatures, we're in those 40s, inland 50s, pretty much all across our inland and coastal locations. Highs this afternoon running just a touch above average, nearing 80 degrees. But notice where we're going on Sunday. Highs about near 90 degrees. Could get close to record-breaking temperatures, especially in Leesburg and Sanford. We'll be pinpointing the rain that comes after all this heat coming up in just a little bit. Now let's check on how those roadways are doing on this Thursday with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
This is your hydration reminder. Look, a lot of people be out there celebrating spring break. Make sure you're hydrating, please. St. Patrick's Day, adult beverages, things like that. Drive responsibly, have a designated driver, and drink a lot of water. 95, report of a crash over at the 259 puts us right here by I-4 over in Daytona. Not picking up anything on camera. FHP advising that the roadway is open. So in case anything does occur out of that, of course, I'm going to let you know. Outside of that, 528 out by McCoy, looking good. And then downtown Orlando, also clear. Winter Park, we had a crash a second ago at Aloma, and I believe this is Lakemont. So just be careful as you're cruising through here. We know that traffic gets pretty condensed through this area, but Winter Park PD does a real good job at enforcing it. So be careful. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. The time is now 7:12. A violent brawl captured on a flight to Florida.
A passenger lashes out at a flight attendant. Wild. Coming up, the charges that man's now facing.
But first, a shutdown showdown on Capitol Hill, the battle between Democrats and Republicans that may lead to the government to run out of money tomorrow night. You're watching News 6 Mornings, getting results for Webster, Winter Park, and Daytona Beach. Look at that.
Glorious.
Developing now, Congress inching closer to a potential shutdown of the federal government. They have until tomorrow night to reach a spending deal or face running out of money. The House passed a continuing resolution, but Senate Democrats are fighting back, calling for concessions aimed at reining in spending cuts. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says his party has enough votes to block the CR. And this morning, Republicans are refusing to support the Democrats' stopgap plan.
I hope our Republican colleagues will join us to avoid a shutdown on Friday.
We are on the brink of a government shutdown, which will be entirely of the Democrats making.
The plan proposed by Senate Democrats would fund the government for another month to allow time for more negotiations.
Some slightly good news when it comes to the economy. For the first time in 4 months, inflation has slowed. So a federal report found inflation is at 2.8% for 12 months ending in February, and that's better than expected. But the Federal Reserve has said it wants to see inflation closer to that 2% threshold before dropping interest rates again. Cost of living also remaining high for so many Americans. The latest consumer price index found food prices went up by 2%, egg prices jumping more than 10% in February alone.
New this morning, a violent scene caught on camera on board a flight bound for Miami. A passenger arrested after attacking a flight attendant.
Get the cops! Get the cops!
What a mess. According to an arrest report, the 31-year-old man not only swung at that flight attendant, but also kicked and punched the seat of the person in front of him, then swallowed rosary beads. The pilot was forced to head back to the airport in Savannah. The FBI says no one was seriously hurt. The man, who was reportedly traveling to Haiti, is now facing several charges.
Well, happening today, a popular family spot badly damaged during Hurricane Ian is set to officially reopen its doors. You may remember this video here, pretty jarring, from September 2022, after the storm caused the roof of the Chuck E. Cheese on Williamson Boulevard in Port Orange to collapse. The entire building had to be torn down and rebuilt. The company says this new version here has even more features, including a trampoline zone and an interactive dance floor. The official grand opening celebration is set for 5 o'clock. There's a look at that new spot on Williamson in Port Orange. Yeah.
What'd you tell me earlier? The pizza was?
Pizza slaps there. I know that much. Yeah, it's really good. And maybe it's relatively good because you're at a place where you're not expecting the pizza to be good, but it is.
Oh, they
really
bumped
good.
up that menu, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, a wild scene caught on camera inside a South Florida home.
A man comes home to find an alligator in his living room.
And I'm like, oh crap, I got to deal with this today?
Yeah, that's right. We got to deal with this today, Paul. That's Paul Quinn. He lives in Fort Myers. He says he discovered the gator right there, waking up on an easy Sunday morning. He says he kept his distance, waited for FWC to arrive to haul the gator outside. Here's a look at that video. Here's the thing. The gator didn't want to leave, even taking a bite out of one of the family's chairs.
I always tell you to be careful, be mindful of the alligators. This is why.
There's a big reason why. So the homeowners say that they usually leave those doors open. They get that nice breeze. They have a really nice backyard, obviously. And the gator busted through a screen, walked right up in there.
Got more than that breeze.
I stand by what I say earlier. I will take a gator over a bear any day.
It's just less damage to the house. The bears are rifling through the pantry and stuff, and they're leaving a trail.
Bears are very self-aware, too. Like, they know they're the bear.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the gator's fully...
I feel like it might be easier to get that a gator like that out of there as opposed to a bear.
Right.
Bears are a little more nimble,
It's like the bear will eventually find its way out. I think the gator is not going to find its way out.
Yeah, like, I'm taking those Doritos.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I mean, and that's the one thing that, anytime we're at Gatorland, they always say, gators are very lazy. They're very lazy animals. So,
Just on that tile floor right there, just cooling down, just like our pets do, right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully folks are just opening the windows and not keeping the doors open this morning.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And it's funny because everyone, some people up north, when they come down to visit, like, why does everyone have screened-in porches? You're like, to keep the gators out.
Gators, mosquitoes, all of that.
Have you seen the crows that fly around, a.k.a. mosquitoes?
Oh, yeah. Crows.
Hey, come on.
Some big daddies for
that
sure.
That gave some perspective, didn't it, Steve? Thank you. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Just made me itchy. Looking at the forecast for today, temperatures are going to be back into those 80s. A little bit warmer than where we were yesterday, but then we're really cranking up that heat as we head into that weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, some locations could get to close to near 90 degrees. We're talking about possible record-breaking temperatures all ahead of our next cold front. Late Sunday, we're talking like a Sunday evening, early Monday play. That's where we will have our best shot for some rain in the forecast. So it's not going to be an all-day event. Can't completely rule out the chance of a strong storm or two, but that's something we're going to, of course, continue to iron out and get those details as we get a bit closer in. But let's talk about those temperatures right now. No storm chances, all about that sunshine and those nice temperatures right now. Upper 40s, low 50s area-wide. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Thursday. Highs this afternoon closing in on near 80 degrees yesterday. As a perspective, we hit 79 in Orlando, so we're going to be just above that this afternoon as conditions will be staying mostly sunny. Now, we are watching for a little more moisture, a little more humidity is slowly starting to come back into the forecast. You'll feel it today, but with some of that moisture in play, it might actually come in the way of fog later on tonight. So that could cause a little bit of visibility issues if you're trying to catch a glimpse of the total lunar eclipse later on tonight or really early tomorrow morning. So you can see here the visibility tracker. I stopped the clock around 3 a.m., which is about that point of totality where the moon will be at its darkest red color. But we are looking at the possibility of some patchy fog developing across Marion and Sumter County. That doesn't mean I want to discourage you guys in Marion and Sumter not to go out and try at least see. Again, this is going to be patchy in nature, but this is the only kind of issue I see later on tonight. Then we talk about the next system. That's going to be heating us up. Look at that, 88 possibly on Saturday ahead of that next cold front. Temperatures will get even hotter on Sunday, possibly into those low 90s before the rain rolls in. This is Sunday at 5 p.m. Notice how close the rain will be, and then clearing out of Central Florida as we head into your St. Patty's Day on Monday. Temperatures, though, on St. Patrick's Day, much cooler than your weekend. We should stay mostly dry once we get some of those early showers out of here. It will be breezy on your St. Patrick's Day with gusts upwards about 20 miles per hour, but that's going to lead to another nice stretch of weather into next week. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
If you're hopping onto I-4 from Daytona Beach this morning, from maybe International Speedway out there, State Road 400, nice and clear westbound. You're clear 44, and then you're going to run into a quick delay out in Deltona, right when the roadway splits out there, when that median's there. So what is your drive time this morning? Not too bad. Once you get into Lake Mary to Maitland, it's about an 11-minute drive. If you're hit John Young in Orange County and leaving our area to 27, that westbound drive is always pretty nice. 26 minutes, smooth sailing with no delay. Even your westbound delay is non-existent out by Champions Gate. I am picking up a delay out here at 434 out by Sand Lake by the school. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thanks. 721, goodness gracious, it is not 521, but a Florida school custodian being hailed a hero this morning.
At the bottom of the hour, how his quick thinking likely saved a student's life.
First, though, which cars and SUVs are the safest? Coming up next, the new list out from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. New this morning, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety is out with its annual list of the safest vehicles. And this year, the number of models that made the cut dropped pretty significantly. So this year's test focused on the safety of various vehicles' back seats, since front seat safety has gotten so much better in recent years. Researchers found just 48 models qualified for top safety awards compared to 71 last year. SUVs dominated the top picks, including the Honda HR-V, Hyundai Santa Fe, and the BMW X5.
What we're seeing is these are vehicles where they have added advanced seatbelt technologies, or they have redesigned their vehicles in terms of the seat pan or perhaps in terms of the latch positions.
The Institute says it was not able to award any top safety winners in the minivan or small pickup categories.
Also new this morning, enrolling in the TSA pre-check program just got a bit easier. Instead of heading to the airport, you could sign up at the mall. Clear, the secure identity company, has opened up a new location at the Florida Mall. This is among the company's first non-airport locations. The hours are Monday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pre-check members typically get through airport security much faster than others since they don't have to remove their shoes or take those laptops out of their carry-on bags.
Hot take, too many people have TSA pre-check now. Doesn't do the same job anymore.
Well, a controversial topic up for discussion in just hours.
Should Florida have its first bear hunt in nearly a decade? At the bottom of the hour, when the public will have a chance to weigh in.
But first, a stern warning from police in New Smyrna Beach. Their message to potentially hundreds of high school seniors planning to ditch class and head to the coast. You're watching News 6 Mornings, getting results for Kissimmee, Melbourne, Daytona Beach, and all of Central Florida.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. 45, that is our temperature right now in areas in and around Marion County and Wildwood. DeLand still in those mid-40s, but we are starting to see a lot more 50s in play as the sun now starting to come up. And now we're going to continue to see those temperatures climb to near 80 degrees. The pollen numbers will stay high under mostly sunny skies. We're going to stay dry throughout the next 2 to 3 days. We are going to bump up rain chances, though, just a bit as we head into your late Sunday afternoon, early evening hours. Most of the rain, though, should taper off by St. Patrick's Day. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Thank you, ma'am. Right now, roadways doing pretty good this morning. We do have some westbound delays out there along 408 in Azalea Park. As you begin to approach 436, looks like we might have a minor crash out there as well. University, not bad. Also, State Road 50 out by 408, also looking pretty good. If you're coming in from Brevard County, your drive times westbound on I-4 where they should be. The news continues next. Remember, you can get updates on any of our big stories anytime. ClickOrlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 7:30.
We hope all goes well. There have been some problems in the past few years.
Growing concerns about possible problems along the coast. The warning from police after learning hundreds of students are planning to skip class and head to the shore.
Plus, a dog owner devastated after 3 of his pets are shot and killed by police. The changes one department is making after the violent encounter.
And the bear hunt debate once again taking center stage. How both sides are reacting and how you can weigh in on the decision. Good Thursday morning to you, Central Florida. I'm Justin Warman.
And I'm Crystal Moyer. We'll have those stories ahead. But of course, we want to start with a check for pinpoint weather with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos.
Beautiful start across Central Florida right now. If you have the opportunity to stop whatever you're doing and take a live look outside, this is the weather, right? Pristine coastline right now. Just a beautiful day, a beautiful start to what will be a really fantastic forecast as we head into not only the last bit of the week, but as many of us here in Central Florida with all the school districts kind of kicking into spring break this weekend. Our sunrise officially at 7:37 this morning, so we're just about 5 minutes away from seeing that sun poke its head above the horizon. We're going to continue to warm up into those mid 70s this afternoon. Right now along our coastal communities, we're in the upper 40s, but already nearing 60 degrees in Cocoa Beach. So if you have the opportunity to do so today, tomorrow, or throughout the weekend, the beach forecast is going to get even better as temperatures could get climbing to near 90 degrees come Saturday and Sunday. Rip current risk still kind of in that moderate range with the surf not too bad and only about 2 to 3 feet. We'll have more details on the total lunar eclipse coming up in just a bit and when we could start working the rain back into the forecast. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic. How are we shaping up at, what time is it, 7:30?
It is at 7:31, and we're starting to see those delays kind of go in throughout Central Florida, but no crashes. And I'll take that any day of the week. Northbound John Young Parkway, State Road 423, Town Center, my Hunters Creek folks. You guys, man, it's a great place to live, but the traffic area is an absolute mess. So just be careful northbound, just south of 417, and then right behind my back there, if I turn around, it looks weird on TV, on the turnpike there, just be careful around 417, that traffic merging in there, a little slow. Neptune, be careful. You know you have those daytime lane closures that are out there, have your area shut down. You're using Parton Settlement as your alternate. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve. Of course, thousands of people are expected to head to the beach for spring break, but some students are apparently looking to get an early start.
Yeah, police in New Smyrna Beach say hundreds of seniors are expected to ditch class today and head to the shore, and that's leading to a special warning that bad behavior will not be tolerated. News 6's Angie Casada is live at the beach right now, and Angie, you're seeing equipment that police have already set up. It's already ready to go.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, listen, it's 7:30, and if you take a look behind me, I get it, right? I understand why folks are trying to head out here to New Smyrna Beach because it's absolutely stunning. And as much as it can be as fun as it can be, we even have a lot of cars that are starting already to come in. Folks are making their way here, but law enforcement isn't taking any chances today, y'all. Check this out. This is the special event zone stationed along the beach, and there's some warning signs, and it all goes into effect in less than 30 minutes at 8 o'clock. The crackdown follows problems from earlier this year on President's Day. If you remember, large teen crowds took over the beach and Flagler Avenue. Police made multiple arrests, including for gun-related incidents. Well, that's why they're enforcing new rules today. Traffic fines are doubled, cars can be towed, and officers will be monitoring for overcrowding. Local businesses and local business owners say that they're just thankful for the extra help.
It's New Smyrna Beach, best beach around, so you have to expect it to be busy. But we can only do so much. The town's only so big.
Now, the special event zone will be lifted once the crowds clear out, but with spring break starting Friday, you can expect a continued heavy police presence here in New Smyrna Beach, and curfew for juveniles will also be in effect. But again, a mobile command center is going to be kicking off in less than 30 minutes. A lot of folks are already making their way. Not going to lie, some of these people look a little young, so who knows, maybe they are the seniors. If you do plan on coming out, just behave. That's all they're asking. Reporting in New Smyrna Beach, Angie Casada, getting results, News 6.
All right, Angie, thank you. Happening today, the Osceola County teenager accused of causing a crash that killed 4 family members is expected back in court. Rashard Ferguson was just 15 when investigators say he sped through a stop sign in Point Siena back in 2023, slamming into another car. 3 children and their grandmother were killed. According to court documents, Ferguson is set to enter a plea to charges of driving without a license, but that is separate from the 4 counts of vehicular manslaughter he's also facing. Now, the teen's father was also arrested after investigators say he let his son drive knowing that he did not have a license. He is currently out of jail on bond.
We now know 2 Ocala police officers were suspended for their role in shooting and killing 3 dogs back in January. Ocala's police chief made the announcement yesterday, along with the update that his department will change its policies. Officers were responding to a complaint about those dogs acting aggressively. On January 29th, the 2 officers opened fire when the dogs ran at them. But what the police chief says was unreasonable was one of his officers chasing after one of the injured dogs and shooting him until he died. In total, the 2 officers fired 30 shots.
I know my dogs. And had they have just used non-lethal force or just a loud noise, all 3 of them would have started running away.
Unfortunately, this was a tragic event, which I believe we simply got wrong.
The chief says going forward, officers will be required to use non-lethal options whenever possible, including things like pepper spray when dealing with aggressive animals.
Well, it's a question that's already sparking fierce debate. Should Florida have its first bear hunts in nearly a decade? Well, supporters say it's needed to control the population, and in just hours, the public has a chance to weigh in. News 6's Mark Lehman live in Seminole County this morning. A lot of folks already speaking out against this, Mark.
Yeah, that includes some we spoke with yesterday here at the Jones Trailhead. Opponents say communities should be focused on mitigation with things like bear-proof trash cans with latches designed to keep bears out. Now, the calls for a hunt, meanwhile, have been persistent from supporters who say the bear population is just too high.
Yeah, there's bears out here.
Marcia Van Alstyne walks the Seminole-Wekiva Trail nearly every day. She knows firsthand how often black bears are in the area, even encountering one about a year ago.
It was very terrifying, and I looked over and I was like, oh my gosh, and I just backpedaled.
Seminole County says bear conflicts with humans have actually gone down through efforts like bear-proof trash cans. Management, however, remains a hot topic throughout the state. That's why FWC is hosting a virtual meeting today to discuss options for restricted black bear hunting. What do you think about that idea?
I mean, I'm sad about that, but because of my experience that I had recently, well, last year on this trail, yeah, I'm kind of comfortable with it.
The last hunt was in 2015. It was called off after only 2 days when the bear death count quickly reached more than 300.
I don't think killing them is something that should be done. Just relocate them.
Sandra Santana says she wants to see the state continue non-lethal options. Meanwhile, she says her dog Rocky always keeps an eye out whenever they're out for a walk.
And if he hears something rustling, he's going to look around, and so I look.
Now, the virtual meeting on a potential bear hunt is at 6 this evening. It's also the first of 3 meetings FWC is hosting on the issue. Now, if you want to join and make your voice heard, we posted a link under this story on clickorlando.com. For now, reporting live in Seminole County, Mark Lehman, getting results, News 6.
Mark, thanks. The NTSB has been called in to investigate after a small plane crash lands in East Orange County. It happened yesterday in a field off of Newburgh Street, that's in the Wedgefield area. The agency says the single-engine Cessna, which is registered in Orlando, suffered some engine failure shortly after takeoff. 2 people weren't on board at the time, and fortunately, they are okay.
The Orange County Elections Office says it has successfully recovered more than $3.2 million of taxpayer money. You might remember the battle between commissioners and the former supervisor of elections, Glenn Gilzine. They say Gilzine improperly gave more than $4 million in surplus budget money to Valencia College, the Central Florida Foundation, and Career Source Central Florida. The new supervisor, Karen Castor Dental, says Valencia returned $2.1 million, and they've gotten back almost all of the money given to the other nonprofits.
We have successfully recovered the majority of the funds allocated to this office for the business of administering elections.
Now, despite regaining some funds, the office still faces a nearly $1 million shortfall.
Starting April 7th, Brevard County Fire Rescue says it will no longer be allowed to transport patients to Rockledge Hospital. That's 2 weeks before the hospital is scheduled to close on April 22nd. It's just the latest in pushback against Orlando Health's shutdown plans, which the county's assistant fire chief says will hurt patient care.
Not only is, that area vacant as far as an emergency department, but our transport times are going to double. In addition to that, is once we get to the facility, then chances are they're going to be overwhelmed.
Meanwhile, the Cocoa City Council approved a resolution urging Orlando Health to reconsider closing the hospital. However, Orlando Health says the facility is in such bad shape it will be cheaper to build a whole new hospital, which they say they plan to do, but have not said when or where that's going to be.
Well, we are in for a pretty real and spectacular sight early tomorrow morning. If you're up, you can spot a total lunar eclipse, also known as a blood moon. So a lunar eclipse happens when the Earth is positioned in between the sun and the moon. The area of the moon that reflects light from the sun will appear in that reddish orange when the eclipse nears its peak. Hence the name, right? We can expect it to start around 1:09 in the morning, but Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos joins us now. If people are going to set their alarm, Candace, there's really no need to do it that early, just a couple of hours later.
I mean, if you really want to embrace the entire event, I guess you can.
Yeah.
But listen, at the end of the day, this is the question I've been getting from my family. What time should I set my alarm to wake up to go watch this? I'd say depends. Don't snooze because that's going to throw off the time. Like 2:55. Put your alarm around 2:55 in the morning because around 2:59 is where we're going to see kind of the totality of the event. Before and after that, we're going to get those reddish colors between about 2:30 and about 3:30. But if you want to get that whole moon completely covered in that blood red color, again, that's right before 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I don't want to discourage folks from getting out there and enjoying the event, but just want to let you know that if you are going to be in and around Marion County or Sumter County, we're going to be dealing with a little bit of patchy fog tomorrow morning around that 3 a.m. hour. So just do be aware of that. But other than that, you will need maybe a light jacket if you're going to be walking outside to check it out. Speaking of fog, we are dealing with visibility, kind of that same zone. I think 3 a.m. is just early enough that we won't get a lot of that fog just yet. We, of course, will be pinpointing more on that, as well as the big time warm-up for your weekend coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
If you ever wonder what a morning news schedule felt like, just wake up at 2, get fully dressed in a suit or a dress, and go outside. And maybe it's there and maybe it's not. So that should be interesting. 192, super slow this morning if you're headed west, approaching the Turnpike out in Osceola County. And then there is a crash westbound 408 over by 436, slowing us down a little early this morning. So as you're coming through 417, just be careful, get on the brakes and increase that following distance. Yesterday out on patrol, I was hanging out with the Seminole County Fire Department because they are the lead right now fundraisers for the St. Baldrick's Foundation. So we went out to Station 12, raised some awareness with some of the men and women out there for an event that's happening at Lake Mary at the Citrus City Brewery on Sunday that I'm going to go to. Just hang out. So go check that out, clickorlando.com, and I hope to see you guys out there. Beautiful day on Sunday. Today, we're going to go drive 417, 429 in the I-4, that new extension area out in Seminole County. Hit the ramps a little bit. Well, I make it sound like we're going to go really fast. It's not, but we're just going to go check it out. All right. Join me at 10. Guys, back to you.
Well, we know what kind of car you drive, Steve, so we'll be able to spot you like that. All right. 7:43 now. A scary scene at a Florida elementary school.
But thankfully, an employee was around when things went wrong at lunchtime.
I could feel the cheesy bread hanging out from inside my mouth. Then it just popped out.
Coming up, how a quick-thinking custodian jumped into action to save a choking student.
First, though, after repeated sewage spills, new leadership is working to get results in a local city. The options now on the table and why some homeowners are worried about the price tag. Well, new this morning, it is a problem one Central Florida community has dealt with for years, and it's kind of nasty, really nasty actually. Sewage water leaking into neighbors' yards.
Gross, right? Now 3 new Winter Springs commissioners, they're in office and ready to tackle the sometimes stinky situation. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez joins us live. And Stephanie, how's the city planning to do that?
Yeah, so the city is holding a workshop in just a couple hours at 9:30 to discuss what's on the table so they can tackle this situation that residents tell us they're tired of, hate seeing sewage in their backyard. I can't blame them. So they're going to be sharing those updates with us today. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection has given Winter Springs a 3-year deadline to rebuild both of their wastewater plants. This after the city was audited by both Seminole County and the state of Florida for questionable spending. The state auditor general identified several issues, including ongoing problems with the city's wastewater plant that resulted in sewage spills and hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines.
Our plants are built in the 70s, 80s. We're not really sure, but they've reached their end of useful life. They need to be replaced.
Matt Reeser says the city is holding a wastewater workshop today for consultants, contractors, and staff to give a clearer understanding of the city's long-term plans.
We have a new utilities director, a number of new commissioners. There is a lot of discussion and talk going around about our water reclamation facilities, wastewater plants. So just in the effort to make everything as streamlined as possible and not get derailed at a commission meeting or anything, they decided to have a dedicated workshop to just talk about this specific issue.
Reeser says whether or not that 3-year timeline is feasible will likely come up as well. And as I said, that starts here at City Hall at 9:30. There isn't a carved out public comment section, but people are welcome to come. But commissioners could decide to have a public comment section if they want. It will be live streamed on the city's website as well as their YouTube page. Reporting live in Winter Springs, Stephanie Rodriguez, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. New this morning, Florida lawmakers taking the first steps to officially rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. The proposal would rename the Gulf in more than 50 sections of state laws. 3 Republican-controlled panels have already given the green light to the proposal, which is backed by President Trump.
This is just changing the name from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America in Florida statute. It's consistent with the executive order coming from the federal government, and it's as simple as that.
As you might imagine, not everyone on board. Critics argue it's unnecessary, and lawmakers should be focusing on other important issues like insurance and affordable housing.
New this morning, a Florida custodian being praised a hero after he saved a student from choking. It happened at an elementary school in Pensacola. The student says he was rushing through his lunch when a piece of cheesy bread got stuck in his throat. Thankfully, though, head custodian Ontario Minor sprang into action, performing the Heimlich and potentially saving that child's life.
And I just grabbed him and just gave him like 3 good pumps to the chest, and he just started spitting out the mouth, and I let him go. He was like, and it scared me so bad.
Great reminder there of how important it is to learn the Heimlich maneuver in case something like this ever happens to you.
Wow. I mean, shout out to him for the work that he just did, saving that boy's life. Just incredible. Well, Disney's Lilo and Stitch making a comeback, and this time it is more real than ever.
I wish for a friend, like a best friend.
So good.
Oh, I'm pumped for this. Happening this Memorial Day. That's the first full-length trailer for the Lilo and Stitch live-action remake. And just like the original animated film, the plot follows Lilo, the young girl being raised by her teenage sister who bonds with the dog-like alien Stitch. The new movie hits theaters May 23rd.
It's just such a feel-good.
It's such a good movie.
And it's Hawaii there.
Yeah,
oh,
it's going to be beautiful. I just can't wait to see all the shots of, them surfing
cool. I mean, live actions, though, they kind of do get a bad rap, and maybe for a good reason, but this one, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and be pretty fired up to see.
We're going to go see it either way.
Some live actions are meh, but there's some that are like, there's some like
good.
I still think
music.
Lion King was good.
The Mufasa one?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that one yet,
Yeah,
although my kids know the entire soundtrack. I don't know how that works. Yeah. All right,
You were just back here singing Wicked with Crystal.
Yes, we were.
Don't judge us.
What were we reacting to?
I'm saying that you were singing it. I'm not asking you to sing it.
I mean, some
Crystal was
folks
getting
are
ready to-
asking where in the sky to look for the moon tomorrow.
Just look for the moon.
Can't miss it.
The big red ball up there. That's it.
I can understand. Maybe they were confused.
With what?
I don't know.
There's one sky.
Like they were probably thinking like a meteor shower. This is my thing. I'm not a big fan. I'm gonna get on my soapbox real quick. Hold on. Here we go. I'm not a big fan of the meteor shower thing and look for this, look for that. I need to go out there. If I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night, I need a guarantee. Okay? So this tonight is going to be a guarantee. You are going to see the moon turn like a blood red. The only problem could be a little bit of patchy fog. I'll explain in just a few seconds. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I don't know if you saw that. Looking at our highs for today, we are nearing 80 degrees this afternoon. It's just going to be a really nice day. You get the spicy soapbox Met and Trooper on News 6 Plus. For the weekend, though, we are going to be nearing 90 degrees this afternoon as we head into Saturday and Sunday afternoon, all ahead of our next cold front. Looks like it will be moving in late into the evening on Sunday, but clearing out just in time for St. Patrick's Day. Looking at those temperatures out the door, we're in those 40s and 50s area-wide. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. You can see the average high is 78. We're going to be right back into those low 80s by 5 p.m. So we're starting off a little warmer today. We're going to continue to be a little warmer this afternoon. But at the end of the day, if you liked yesterday, you're going to like today. Let's talk about the eclipse visibility tracker here. This is kind of our moon watching forecast. So you can see here in areas of Sumter and Marion County, there will be that potential of dealing with a little bit of patchy fog. I don't think it's going to be widespread enough that it's going to completely eliminate your chances of seeing the moon. Again, the totality point there will be just before 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's still at least a shot to try to see the lunar eclipse. The overall eclipse time for the reddish color is going to be between 2:26 and 3:31 in the morning, as temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s. Then after another cool night tonight, we're going to be ramping up those temperatures. This is Sunday, by the way. Both Saturday and Sunday highs will be nearing 90. Could be flirting with records, especially in Leesburg and Sanford, before the rain gets here. You can see clouds and rain showing that the front by about lunchtime still to our north could be moving in late into the evening or early evening on Sunday, clearing out by St. Patty's Day. So rain chances here on the next 7 days, you'll see is at 40% on Monday. I think most of it should be out of here before the sun even rises on Monday, turning into a really nice week for many spring breakers in Central Florida. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
It takes News 6 Plus and streaming for us to get a spicy meteorologist, Candace?
I'm not answering that.
No questions. If you guys are watching us right now, this is like the VIP treatment. Westbound 408, we're slow. The crash has been cleared out. Waterford Lakes, you guys look great. Your drive times along 528 on a Thursday look good. And then if you're headed towards MCO, I have this from a few different directions, 41750, and then from the Kissimmee area, things looking nice. Guys, send it back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. Hundreds of high school seniors expected to head to the beach today. How police are planning to crack down on the rule breaking. Next, as we check our big stories. $7:55, let's check our big stories. Police in New Smyrna Beach warning Bad behavior by teens will not be tolerated. It comes after the department says it learned hundreds of high school seniors plan to skip class today and head to the beach.
Brevard County says it now has weapons detection systems up and running at all 16 traditional high schools. The district started rolling out the scanners last year and have already caught at least one student trying to get on campus with a gun.
And SpaceX says it'll wait until tomorrow night before trying again to get Crew 10 to the International Space Station. They were supposed to lift off on a Falcon 9 rocket last night. It had to be scrubbed, though, because of a technical problem on the launch pad. All systems, though, go for today, Candace.
Oh, yeah, just a really nice setup. Temperatures out the door right now are kind of in those 40s and 50s, but the seasonal allergy season is here. We are back into near 80 degrees. It's going to be warm. It's going to be sunny, but then we are heating up. The hottest weekend of the year comes this weekend. Don't forget to get that total lunar eclipse later on early Friday morning. Totality just about 3 a.m. Steve.
When I was out at the Seminole County Fire Station 12 yesterday, the wind hit the trees and the pollen
Oh, yeah.
just
Oh,
fell
you could
like
see it.
yellow
It's
snow.
disgusting.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Drive times across Central Florida, we're in a green. We're in really good shape this morning. No major issues out there if you're on I-4. Just take it nice and easy. Increase your following distance and just do the right thing, and we'll have a decent day.
Let's keep it that way.
Please.
All right, thank you, Steve. Thank you for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our News 6 Plus app. Just stay right here. News 6.
News 6 Plus. Have a great Thursday.